So, in Gallup's study of followers and leadership, they found four needs of followers. The first need of followers is trust. Now, we all think we know what that means, but I want to break that down a little bit today and really talk about the actions that you can take as a leader that exemplify that trust. So, trust in this definition really boils down to two things. It's about integrity and it's about competency. So integrity is this idea that I do what I say I'm going to do, right? That when I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to follow through. Competence is the idea that I actually know what I'm doing. Not only am I going to do what I say, but I know the right thing to do. I understand the environment that we're working in and the type of work we're doing. Let's break that down a little bit more. One of the things about doing what you say you're going to do is learning to be a leader who is careful about what you say you will do. I'll give you an example. One of my first bosses, I am someone who has 1,000 ideas a minute, right? And I was particularly in my mid-20s. I would go to him and I'd be like, ooh, I want to do this. And what about this? And I have this great idea and let's do this. And he would always say, that's an interesting idea. Could you lay that out a little bit more? Could you give me all the details? Could you put together a plan and then we'll consider it? And as a young professional who had a lot of ideas, sometimes that was frustrating. But what I learned is if I came back to him with an idea that was fully fleshed out and I had a solid plan and he said, yes, we will do that, that he was going to support me all the way up the chain. When he left that job, I got a new leader in the same position. And this new leader had a very different leadership style. And he was really enthusiastic about things. And so I would go to him same way. Ooh, I have this idea. Let's try this. What about this? And he'd be like, yes, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And then he would say something to someone further up the chain, his boss or someone else at his level, say, oh, Carol wants to do this. And they would give one reason why not. Like, ooh, I don't know. And what about, and he'd come back and say to me, oh, never mind, we can't do that. And so I learned pretty quickly that I couldn't trust him with my ideas because he might get enthusiastic about them, but he wasn't going to follow through. Whereas that first leader who was a little more careful about his yes, once he said yes, he was going to understand the idea so well that he could support it all the way up the chain, right? So that integrity involves doing what you say you're going to do, but also making sure that you're careful enough about what you say that you can do that you can follow through. Let's break down competency a little bit. Competency is really about knowing and understanding the work that everybody is doing and the environment that we're in. One of the things that's interesting about competency is a lot of times we think we need to know that already. And competency you will still be perceived as competent when you don't know something if you are willing to say, I don't know, I'll find out. It's a fascinating thing because a lot of times we think in order for our followers to perceive us as competent, that we need to hide the fact that we don't know or we don't understand things, right? But what is really true is followers are very generous with us if we don't know, if we will say, I don't know, but I'll find out. Okay. That learning mentality, that willingness to jump in and figure something out can be really powerful. So 4 actions to take to make sure that your followers know they can trust you. 1, do what you say you're going to do and be careful what you say. 2, know your stuff. And if you don't know it, learn it. 3, show up. People cannot trust you if they don't have a relationship with you, right? So show up, be available, be in relationship with your followers. And 4th, and this is a big one, make sure and share the why. So people really trust you when they understand the why behind what they're doing. If you say to somebody, I need you to do X, and they say why, and you say just because, that feels very iffy, right? When you can say to somebody, I need you to do something, and this is why it matters, right? It will go a long way towards helping that follower really trust you. To summarize one more time, trust is about integrity and competency, right? Doing what you say you're going to do and knowing your stuff.